Welcome to our English Strategies _ a playlist designed to help students learn English smarter, not harder. In these series, you will discover practical language learning strategies that make English easier, more natural and more enjoyable to learn. Most language learners are obsessed with memorization, vocabulary lists, flashcards, grammar charts, Anki streaks, and at first, it feels productive. Because memorization gives you something very addictive, certainty. You can measure it, track it, count it. I learned 50 new words today. I finished 3 grammar lessons. I memorized the top 1,000 verbs. It feels like progress. But here's the problem. Children don't learn languages by memorizing. Travelers don't survive by memorizing. Fluent people don't speak by recalling flashcards. So why are you learning that way? The uncomfortable truth is that memorization feels safer than communication. Because communication exposes your gaps, memorization hides them. You can spend 3 hours memorizing fruit vocabulary and still freeze when somebody asks, "So what did you do today?" Why? Because memorization creates recognition, not communication, and those are completely different skills. Recognizing a word is passive. Using language in real time is strategic. That's the difference most learners never understand. Fluent speakers are not walking dictionaries. They are navigators. They know how to move through uncertainty. They infer meaning from context. They predict. They simplify. They improvise. They recycle the same small set of words creatively. That's why someone with a smaller vocabulary can sometimes sound more fluent than someone who studied 4 years. Because fluency is not built from accumulation alone, it's built from adaptability. Think about what strategic learners actually do. Instead of obsessing over perfect vocabulary, they focus on high-leverage structures. Instead of memorizing 40 restaurant words, they learn, "I want," "Can I have," "What do you recommend?" "I don't understand." And suddenly, they can survive an entire interaction, not because they know everything, but because they know how to navigate. That's the real skill. Language navigation. Here's the best analogy I know. Memorizers try to carry the entire language in their backpack. Strategists learn how to use the airport. Think about it. Nobody memorizes every detail of an airport. You rely on signs, patterns, routines, prediction, context, landmarks. You know how to move through the system. Fluency works the same way. It's navigation, not storage. And this becomes even more obvious under pressure, because memorization collapses when speed increases. Time pressure rises, memory retrieval slows, anxiety interferes, and suddenly the learner, who knew everything alone in their room, can barely form a sentence. Why? Because real conversation is not a memory test. It's adaptation in real time. Fluent speakers constantly compensate. They paraphrase, redirect, simplify, approximate, use familiar structures creatively. That's what fluency actually looks like. Not perfect recall, strategic movement. And this is the most important line in the entire video. Fluency is not the absence of gaps. It's the ability to move through gaps. Native speakers do this constantly. They forget words, mishear things, restart sentences, use vague language, but they keep moving. Learners stop moving the moment precision disappears. That's the difference. So what should you actually do instead of memorizing endlessly? First, stop treating vocabulary like collectible items. Most learners memorize nouns because nouns feel concrete, but connectors create thinking. Words like because, although, maybe, probably, usually, actually, I think, depends. These allow you to build ideas. A small vocabulary with strong connectors is more powerful than a huge vocabulary with no flexibility. Second, stop trying to master every grammar rule before speaking. Instead, master reusable sentence frames. Things like, I'm trying to, I used to, I've never. The reason is, what happens if? Fluent speakers rely on patterns far more than isolated grammar knowledge. Language is built from reusable chunks, not from constructing every sentence from scratch like a mathematician. Third, stop aiming for perfect comprehension. This one is huge. Most learners panic the moment they miss a word, but fluent listeners don't hear every word either. They extract meaning from partial understanding. That's why advanced listening improves when you stop trying to understand everything and start training your brain to tolerate ambiguity. Because real conversations are messy. People mumble, interrupt, change direction, use incomplete sentences. Fluency means staying relaxed inside that chaos. And eventually, your identity as a learner has to change. Because the goal is not to memorize a language like a database. The goal is to become someone who can adapt inside uncertainty. That's what fluent people actually are. Not perfect speakers, adaptive communicators. And strategists become fluent faster for one reason. They stop trying to control every word. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and start learning smarter, not harder.